Hello and welcome to the Car and Bike Show. I am Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. It is a brand new week, but you know what? Things are really hotting up in the auto space because as we get close to the festive season, it starts raining new cars and bikes. Latest launch to drive in, the Hyundai i20 N-Line. I'll tell you more about that, and there's so much more that's coming up. Okay, so what's new on the N-Line? Well, the color screams out as being new. It is exclusive to just the N-Line i20. This is called Thunder Blue. Of course, I love it. You can get some other colors which are shared with a regular car, but it's the front grille that's the second big dead giveaway because it's really different. Glossy black N-Line badge and checkered flag inspired pattern. It's kind of racy and nice. The little red down below, of course, is customary, but it's also the shape of the bumper. It's a lot edgier and sharper looking. That adds to the appeal of making this car look a little different. Now, you've got the two-tone on this particular one. You also get that on the Polar White, but you have monotone options on the car too. N-Line badge on the fender is a giveaway too, but you know what? You've got an N badging right here in the hub of the wheel. Why is that special? Because N-Line cars globally don't get that. That's been done just for the India model, so I like that. The alloy pattern is also new, specific to this car. The wheel size itself though is the same as the regular i20, but you have red brake calipers and that little red stripe running along the side as well. Monotone color options, but also a dual tone because this one has the black roof. You only get that in the white car other than the blue. Otherwise, there are 4 monotone options as well. Okay. Now let's talk about the Volkswagen Taigun. It's a review that many of you have been wanting to see on this show. Let's go to Udaipur and bring you all the details. So alright, first things first. Let's get it out of the way that we are here only with the 1.5 TSI variant of the Taigun in gorgeous Udaipur. The 1-litre TSI will also be available from launch, but we'll get to test that at a later date. The two cars with us have the same engine but have different gearboxes. And so even though both will say GT, they're actually still quite different in other ways too. The wild cherry red Taigun is the 6-speed manual and the kurkuma yellow is the 7-speed DSG. Good styling, you know straight away this is a Volkswagen. You've got the upright hood, a nice straight strong face, the strength getting emphasized by the fact that the hood sort of rises up here, and nice sculpting in the metal as well gives you that sense of power. So I like that. Yes, you take that badge away and frankly you'll know from a mile this is a VW. That's a good thing. I think people will like that. It has good SUV proportions as well. Now the part that I am going to get stuck on, this is the GT line, right? The 1.5 only comes in the GT line. GT, it means sporty. Sporty, well, you typically expect dark elements, you expect a lot of red. Here you're getting lots of chrome, lots and lots and lots of chrome. There's chrome down here in the bumper, tons of it. And then you've also got 2 chrome slats. They've been dressed in chrome, nice and shiny, and the GT badge. But that's where you start to notice differences between these two cars, because here you've got the 2 slats all right, but only the lower one has chrome, not the upper one. Go figure, it's still got the GT badge. That is the manual, this is the DSG. The daytime running light, nice and sleek, very sharp, looks really sexy and high-end. Over here, the DRL moves down here. It's a little bit more blobby looking, for a lack of better word. And yeah, again, GT line, right at the top of things, should have been the same if you ask me. You got a darkened black roof here, you don't get that on the manual as well. Come around to the side and you start to notice even more differences. All this chrome that's happening, well, a little bit of that starts to disappear on this one because you don't have the windowsill dressing done in chrome. alloy wheel pattern is different between the two, that's fine, but you've got 16 inches on this, you've got 17-inch alloy wheels on the DSG. So here's the thing, I don't have a problem with the fact that they are different. I have a problem with why they are called the same thing. Go ahead, call one the GT line, maybe call the other one something like Highline. They can both be 1.5 GT, 1.5 Highline. But no, for some reason, they're both named GT.
Okay, so weird, right? And there's more. The B pillar on the DSG has a glossy black finish. On the manual, it's matte. The headlights are also very different, with the DSG getting full LEDs. Strange indeed. Now, the good news is that there are functional roof rails and both get the continuous LED tail light, which will be the Taigun's signature. Also distinct is the dual shoulder lines running along the side of the car and the angle of the C-pillar. We will come to the differences inside later. First, let's get this show on the road. The two feel inherently similar, of course, and yet there is a special factor about each one. The engine on the car is well proven globally. It is punchy, refined, and yes, those numbers that you're looking at, they are identical to the ones we saw on the Škoda Kushaq's 1.5 engine too. The Taigun gets that 1-litre TSI too, as I said, with 113 bhp on tap, but we'll get you more on that model later. For now, I'm driving the red Taigun with Volkswagen's MQ281 6-speed manual gearbox. You do feel a sense of lag that can be masked if you react quicker to changing gears. But on the whole, the performance is smooth and responsive. Now I am switching to the DQ200 direct shift gearbox or DSG, the dual clutch auto transmission. And so I let Shams get behind the wheel of the manual for a while.
Now I've spent a lot of time driving the manual and it's a lot of fun. It's a good sense of control that you get. So what is the big deal about the automatic? Well, the fact that it is a DSG. Yes, the dual clutch from Volkswagen, that's pretty legendary now. Really quick shifts, very sporty, really well mated to the engine, great sense of refinement. And you know, think about it, if you aren't going to buy the 1-litre Taigun, you are going to buy the 1.5, you're really doing it for the extra power and the performance, aren't you? In that case then, wouldn't you want the gearbox that really delivers that extra punch? I would.
Sure, the price may keep you away, but really, this is a gem of a drivetrain, and the paddle shifters just help. In fact, at times on these hill roads, I needed to take control of the downshifting for more exhilarating performance, or I simply needed to shift the transmission to S or sports mode. And then the response was very sharp. So the Taigun certainly drives well and has a solid build feel, though not as solid as most other VWs. That's down to the Indianization or slight downgrading of the MQB A0 platform to keep costs in check. The Taigun still does feel planted, but will sometimes get skittish on high-speed turns since it does appear to be lighter than, say, a T-Cross. But it is supple and the steering is precise. And despite being identical to the Kushaq in spec terms, the suspension tuning seems a tad nicer here. The Taigun also does well on rough and broken roads and some pebbly tracks. So, spending time with the 1.5 manual and DSG on the road all day I can tell you it comes down to three key takeaways.
Ride quality, ride quality, ride quality.
Yes, people will love that as it is just right. Neither too stiff and certainly not too soft. On the whole, you can tell that VW spent a lot of time on the car to make it appealing and affordable to Indian buyers. But given the likes of the Creta and Seltos that are running away with attracting that very buyer, VW had to bring a lot to the cabin. On safety, electronic stability control or ESC is standard, so is traction control. I love that 3-point seatbelts are standard for all 5 passengers. Yay! So are ISOFIX and dual airbags. On the top end, you get 6 airbags and multi-collision brakes. The high-strength steel structure should mean good crash capability, though we have no test results to corroborate that.
It's obvious that the comparisons to the Skoda Kushaq will be made when we talk about the cabin of the Taigun, and we will soon get you a comparison between these two cars. But there are some features the Taigun gets exclusively. One of them is the virtual instrument cluster. It's nice to look at, gives you a lot of information. Here the Taigun gets a 3-spoke steering wheel and has a lot of buttons on it for controls. These touch sensitive buttons on the climate control system are good to use, and the touchscreen system, big in size, amazing clarity, good response, and it comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's wireless. Now once again, just like the outside, there's difference between the DSG and the manual versions in these GT models. So what you get here, things like the virtual cluster or the start-stop button, which is placed very nicely, those features are missing on the manual of the GT.
The infotainment touchscreen is great and similar in function to the Kushaqs. You get preloaded apps like Gaana and Sygic. The Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity can be done wirelessly, as Shams said, or through the Type-C USB slots. There's also wireless phone charging, and this is a connected car too, by the way. We'll get Sahil to do a detailed tech check on this car soon. The red body color gives you the option of this body-colored dash paneling. I like it, though some people may think it looks plasticky. On the whole, despite using similar materials, the Taigun's interior feels more premium than the plastics we saw on the Kushaq. There's red ambient lighting across all colors. The top spec also gets ventilated front seats. I expect most features to carry over to the highest trim on the 1.0 TSI version too, but a lot of this may not show up in the lower trims. Now to the all-important question of prices. I honestly believe VW needs to get out of its European mindset and think India only. The Taigun's 1-litre variant should start at 9,99,000 rupees in my opinion, but expect pricing to mirror the Kushaqs. That means 10.5 to 16 lakh rupees for the 1.0 and between 16 and 18 lakh rupees for the 2 cars we have showed you today.
Taigun, really important as a model for the German car maker in India. Now back to the N line, it is distinct at the rear as well, very obvious as you can see with the roof spoiler and these side spoilers. Nice glossy black finish on that. This is a nice prominent N line badge, also gets your attention, but it's really the bumper redesign, right? It does look sportier, and you've got a complete new diffuser treatment, twin exhaust, and by the way, that's not just for show because there is an enhanced sound that you get on the i20 N line. There's also some tweaks on the suspension setting, but no changes when it comes to the drivetrain of the car. I personally would have preferred this little chrome strip to have also been blacked out to kind of go with this meaner black treatment, but that's just me. All right, let's take a very short break. When we come back, I'll show you how it is on the inside. Keep watching. Welcome back. On the inside of the N line now, and you can see straight away that there are a few changes. Red stitching and the little N badge here on the steering wheel. You've also got N on the gear stick, and that little red element runs through it too with the stitching. Same for the front seats. Actually, we've got the same treatment on the rear seats too. The N embossed on the seat is a nice touch. A little bit of a red thrown into the AC vents and the AC controls, and also here on the door grab handle on the inside. So not huge changes, but enough to make it look a little racier, edgier and sportier. Red seat belts might have been nice though, right? Okay, let's now talk about changes that have also come to the Honda Amaze. The subcompact sedan has its big mid-cycle facelift. Here's that review.
The Amaze has been Honda's largest selling car in the market for a while. More than 4.5 lakh units of the car have been sold till date since it was first launched. The Japanese car maker introduced a brand new generation of the subcompact sedan in India a few years ago, and now it has been given a midlife facelift. It comes with its fair share of changes on the outside and a few on the inside. So a rather different looking face. It's quite evident when you compare it to the pre-facelift car. The biggest change, the new chrome laden grille gets two new sleek slats, horizontal slats here, and I think this makes the Amaze look more like a part of the Honda family than it was earlier. Till now the Amaze used to only come with halogen lamps. Now the car gets LED projector headlamps, and you also see LED DRLs for the first time, and I like the design as well on them. And finally LED fog lamps along with this chrome garnish. So yes, the face definitely more appealing than before. The profile too sees some changes, including the new dual-tone 15-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels. The door handles now get chrome, but both of these features are only available on the top-of-the-line VX trim. On the rear, the C-shaped tail lamps now get LEDs along with a chrome strip on the bumper. In all, you can choose from 5 colors on the car, including this new meteoroid grey. In the cabin, a new silver garnish on the steering wheel and the dashboard welcomes you. A new stitching pattern on the upholstery is also present, and the front map lamps are new too. Otherwise, things largely remain the same in the cabin of the new Amaze. The 7-inch Digipad 2.0 touchscreen system. I'm not too sure if it's the best in the segment in terms of clarity or response, but yes, you do get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. I quite like the instrument cluster on the car, even though it's largely analog with this nice vertical digital screen in the center. It gives you that premium feel that you want when you buy a car. So that's nice here. And overall, ergonomically, the cabin of the Amaze has always worked for me. A lot of storage spaces here all over in the doors, between the seats. So in terms of practicality, this car scores very highly for me. On the road, the Amaze continues to impress with its presence. Like earlier, Honda is offering the car with both petrol and diesel engines, and both get manual and CVT options. I'm driving the most powerful version in the Amaze lineup, which is the 5-speed manual with a diesel engine. It gives you 99 bhp of maximum power, which is even more than the CVT, and even the torque is significantly higher when compared to the CVT, and of course the petrol. So in terms of responsiveness, having that fun factor, this is the best that you can get from the Amaze. But that's not all. Even the fuel efficiency is the best, close to 25 kilometers per litre on this manual, much higher than the diesel CVT or even the petrol models. Unlike the diesel, the petrol CVT gets paddle shifts to offer a more engaging drive. Cruise control, meanwhile, is only being offered with the manual versions of the car. Now the Amaze continues to offer you a great mix of ride and handling. It's a car that drives well on the roads. It's quite stable even at high speeds, and it's got quite an aerodynamic shape as well, looking at this subcompact sedan segment. Along with that, the suspension too is tuned nicely, so going through bumps or potholes isn't too much of a hassle for the occupants of the car. And overall, it is a car that's quite suited to the conditions that the Indian roads throw at you. Overall though, a well-proportioned car has become better with a more likeable exterior and a cabin that feels more premium.
That's the show this week. Please react, as I always ask you to. Everything you saw, anything you want to see. And this car, we will drive it very soon. Kingshuk will be in fact spending time with it, so you'll have that review coming up. Please wear your seatbelts, please wear your helmets. Please join me next week.